Retro.
Yeah.
Electro. Tech.
Oh yeah.
Hey, turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Well, hello there once again. This is Retro Ernest of Retro Electro Tech. And on the bench here is one of these combo unit 8-track AM/FM stereo receivers with a record changer. I have the record changer perched up against the back of the unit, balanced very carefully. And I'm sussing out a complaint that this unit is dead, kaput, nothing. And that is the case. So I'm going to go over for the customer. This is not going to be a technical video, but I'm going over for the customer what it is that I found. And I have a little area here that I'm going to just do a quick demo just to show the customer what's going on. And this is the original transformer here, okay? That was mounted on the floor of the chassis here. And this is just another transformer that I have that I'm going to just demonstrate something on. Well, we'll get to that in a few minutes or so. So anyways, I verified that her complaint was valid and that the unit is dead. She told me that before the problem occurred that she was listening to some vinyl. So she had indicated that the record changer worked, and I confirmed that. The turntable itself, a little bit sluggish, and I'm going to get into why that was and so forth, and what's going to need to be done to remedy that and improve the performance of the turntable. It is technically working good enough. So, you know, a little stiff here and there, and some of the levers and all that, yeah, definitely need some TLC. Some of the sliding levers and all that work, the various linkages and so forth need work. The whole turntable needs work. It needs to be stripped and cleaned and relubricated and all that for the best performance and reliability, but it works for now. And the reason why I was able to, witness the platter rotating even though the unit was dead, kaput, is because, of course, the motor, and I'm pointing to it right here, the motor that rotates the platter, that's responsible for rotating the platter, works directly off the wall AC, or AC outlet, okay? And gets its power right from the power cord pretty much, and there's a switch, of course, on the turntable, so forth and so on. So the platter, of course, is going to rotate because the motor is still being powered. But the problem that we have going on here is that the rest of the unit is dead. So the peripheral circuitry, or peripheral from the record changer, that is dead, and no power. And I'm going to get into why that is and show a few things here, as I said, in a couple of minutes. But we have no power getting to any of the other circuit boards. You can see a circuit board down here. There's another one, the tuner board down here. This is the amplifier board. There's a 8-track player. The 8-track unit is under this deck under here, and so forth. So anyways, and this transformer that you're looking at, as I may have pointed out just a moment ago, is the one that mounted down here on the floor of the chassis. This is just another one I have in here, so let's go ahead and get to it now. So anyways, this is just the power supply, circuit board here that I was checking a few components on and what have you, and that mounted down in this area here on the chassis. So anyways, what's going on here is that the secondary of the transformer, and I'm going to zoom into this in just a moment, and I'll show you what we have going on. Let me go ahead and try to do that now. Okay, and what you're looking at here is the transformer that belongs inside this unit. So what do I have going on here? Well, first of all, I have power AC voltage, in other words from the wall, clipped onto these stubs of wires that I have left, okay? And the reason why I cut them short, well, it really doesn't matter, but in short, the transformer's bad, okay? So I didn't really care, and I wanted to leave some slack inside of the unit, so whatever, I cut these wires close to the transformer, because again, I don't care about it. I just wanted to leave enough wire sticking out just to be able to do what I'm doing here right now. So I have power coming in 120 volts AC into the primary, okay? So just consider, you know, visually cut this transformer in half. You have your primary side and you have your secondary side. The secondary side is what either steps down or steps up voltages, and you have a number of wires that you see sticking out that provide those different voltages that are needed by the, let me change views here a little bit, that are needed by the various circuitry and circuit boards laid out in this unit here, okay? So that's how we get the different voltages that we need, is via this transformer here that again takes the AC wall voltage 120 volts and steps it up or down to whatever is needed again. So this side here is kaput. I have no voltages over here. So let's go ahead and go over to the meter, and we'll go ahead and just take a quick look at what I'm talking about. And just before I examine things a little further, I didn't point out that, yes, you can see that I have my probes on the primary side of this transformer, and we have 117 volts, okay? So that's what's feeding the primary side, or just this side of the transformer. I'll just say this side and that side. So, you know, we have our wall voltage going in, and we want our secondary voltage or voltages coming out of that transformer. And that's what we're lacking with this one. And that's what I was afraid of when the customer had mentioned to me that it was completely dead, you know, after she had played some vinyl and whatnot, and she went to use it again and nothing, zero. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this secondary side of the transformer. So what I'm doing now is, you can see those clips that I have clipped onto the one pair of windings here. The green pair, there's a blue pair, and then there's some other wires there. I'm not going to get into that, but if you follow those leads, I have them, I'll drop the exposure down just a little bit so that the face isn't all washed out. And there's nothing, okay? There's no voltages to speak of. And let me go ahead and jump over to a different pair of windings here. I don't know if my arm is in the way. If it is, pardon my reach. It's just while I clip these probes onto a different set of wires, and you can see nothing has changed with the needle deflection. Okay, so we have nothing there. Okay, so again, let's pay attention to this transformer now. This is just a extra transformer that I had in the shop, a pull off of another unit, and it's not a replacement. Once again, I think I mentioned that to this here. I just have it here for some quick demonstration purposes. So that's that. So if you notice over here, you can probably see the meter, and we still have 120 volts, and that's what's feeding the primary side of this transformer. So we have the primary side of this one, we have the primary side of that one, and we have both secondaries here. So we should be getting voltage off of these various pairs of windings here. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we're getting. Okay, so I'm clipped onto my first set coming off the secondary of the transformer. And I'm going to pan on over here to the meter. I'm getting about, you can see I'm right about 8 volts there. And if I go ahead and detach, okay, and clip onto another set here, you're going to see the different voltages that I get. Okay, so you can see right there I'm at about 22 volts. Okay, let me try another 11 volts. Okay, so in quick review, what we have going on here is a bad transformer, and you saw that we fed 120 volts from the wall into the primary side, this side of our transformer, and we should have got different voltages, or had different voltages available on this side, on the secondary side of the transformer. Okay, but we did not. Now I could have got to that conclusion a little bit quicker and without having to lift the transformer out and all that stuff, but that's okay. I wanted to do that because if I'm able to find some kind of a replacement, a substitute transistor that I can use, then fine. It needs to come out anyways. It's a bad transformer, it's done. So there you go. And then you saw on the good transformer here that I fed 120 volts into it, and I still have 120 volts fed into it, by the way, and I have my various voltages coming out, okay, that I need for the circuitry, meaning the circuitry contained within this unit here. And because our secondary of this transformer was dead, then obviously the rest of the unit didn't have power. Another thing that I want to mention before I get into the mechanism itself just a little bit is what I was doing in terms of testing the components on the board and why I was, interested in that. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, and I want to bring this board back into view real quick and just mention that this portion of the power supply here is what takes our voltage from the wall and basically converts it from AC to DC, which is what this unit needs to function on, is DC voltage. The majority of the circuitry in here utilizes a DC. So this board here is what, these little black parts here, they're called diodes here. These 4 of them together form what's called a bridge rectifier, which takes your AC voltage and converts it to a pulsating DC, okay, on its own. And then these capacitors here filter that pulsating DC and smooth it out, because you want a smooth signal, something that's not going to produce noise that you're going to hear through your speakers. That, we don't want noisy audio, so we have to have a quiet power supply, or acceptably quiet. And that's pretty much the function of this board, converting AC to rectified DC and then filtering it. So I wanted to make sure that these components here, and none of them failed in a manner that were able to cause the type of damage that ultimately caused our transformer to fail. So that's that. So everything looked pretty good in there. I checked, I checked these caps here. They're 2200 microfarads a piece. One is 16 volts, one's 35 volts. I checked them, with our tester here. In fact, if I just bring this into view, you'll see. Let me hook up real quick and just, I keep hitting that button. Let me just hook up here. And we see our ESR 0.03, which is good. That's 0.05 or something or less, probably in the ballpark. And then 2800 microfarads. This is a 2200 mic cap. Yeah, sometimes they read high like that, especially as they age. But this is, this is not so far out of the ballpark that it's more than likely the culprit that, caused the problem that we had with the transformer. In fact, I know it isn't. So nothing shorted out or failed catastrophically on this board that, would damage our transformer. Everything is functioning okay. Once again, I checked those caps. They're reading within reason, both ESR and capacitance. Those rectifier diodes on the board that rectify our AC into DC, those are functioning properly. And there you go. So maybe there was a surge or something that damaged the transformer. I don't know exactly what caused the failure. So without a heartbeat anymore, we have no life in this. So we can't power the rest of the circuitry that requires our rectified DC from this transformer here. So there you go. As far as the turntable, before I conclude this video, and I decided I'm going to do just that, I'm not going to get into an evaluation of the turntable because the platter is rotating and I could get it to rotate at the proper speeds, or so it appears just, visually. It seems right to me. So that's good enough for testing purposes. And like I said, I am able to change the speeds on it, but I will be honest with you, the changing of the speeds, and let me just zoom in a little bit more. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because I just want to get through this. I'm not sure how far the customer is going to want to go with this. Just the, just getting the power supply back again is not going to be real cheap, and, getting everything squared away there and trying to, spending time trying to source a substitute transformer and so forth and so on. And yeah, this board here, does need to be refurbished, rebuilt, new caps and all that. If I do find a transformer, and there's work that needs to be done. Just that alone may be the reason why I don't go any further on this, unless, she has enough sentimental value in this where she's willing to go ahead and do what it takes to get this up and running. But, everybody has a tap out point. And anyways, I'm going to bring this into view the best that I can, and not because I'm going to demonstrate it. Hopefully my reach won't be in the way. But I just want to bring this up here and very carefully set it here because I don't want to scratch anything. So the reason I'm doing that is to show the overall mechanism, and you can see, I think, some of these areas that I'm pointing to. You can see the grease on here. This grease becomes degraded over the years. It thickens up, it becomes really viscous and thick, and can actually start to bog down the mechanism instead of assisting its movement and providing, lubrication for smooth movement. It actually hinders movement. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why, in order to do a proper job, tech has to go in here and properly disassemble the entire unit, at least down to the point where all the surfaces could be accessed that need to be accessed to remove old greases, dirt, debris, all that stuff, and there you go. And this mechanism in its entirety is what is responsible for your auto function, like when the tone arm lifts from its rest position, carries over to the lead-in groove, sets down, travels across the vinyl, gets to the lead-out groove, gets kind of sucked in by the lead-out groove, pulled in, it lifts, and returns back to the rest position and sets down. Well, that's complements of this auto mechanism here. And I did notice that, the levers are very stiff, a lot of them. You could see maybe, I don't know, maybe not, doesn't matter. But maybe if I tilt it. But up in here anyways, there's a deposit of grease that's pretty thick, and it's pretty dense, and it's really kind of bogging down the movement of these levers that slide around and control the various linkages and all that. That grease obviously is supposed to aid in the smooth travel of these various levers along their ranges of travel and all that, and they're getting to the point where they're thickening up, and they have. Now the platter is still rotating, although when I was testing it to see if it was going to rotate for me, I did have to put a little bit of light oil on the platter hub, because the platter hub was a little bit sticky. It had some just probably old oil over the years that it was just kind of sitting there on the hub surface that needed to be cleaned out. So I cleaned it out, reapplied some light oil, and the platter rotates nicer now for sure. But again, it's working now. I don't know how long that auto mechanism is going to hold up. It's very sluggish, and this is the reason why. So that needs to be taken care of. Now I'm going to set this back down and just end with that much information on the record changer, because this video I didn't want to go deep into that, but I just wanted to point out that there's enough work that needs to be done with that if you want that to work reliably over the years. That gets a bit costly too, because you saw the mechanism, all that needs to be disassembled. The time needs to be taken to properly clean everything, relube everything with the appropriate lubricants that are correct for the job as far as their viscosity, how thick the grease is or not. Thinner grease, thicker grease, the types of oils you use do matter. So in doing a good thorough job on the record changer alone, that can get a bit costly, because if the customer wants to future-proof a piece of equipment like this and have it working reliably, well, that's what it takes. So there you go. A lot of work to be done on these after 40-something years, pushing 50 years or more in some cases, and yeah, a lot of work needs to be done. So I'm not going to even look at the top side, of the record changer, that is. So that's where we are on this thing. So if I do get the green light and the customer is going to want to go further with this, then I will roll some more footage as I get into things. Maybe I'll cover the footage of working on the record changer if she decides to go that route. Also too, if I source what I need to get the power supply functioning again and get the rest of the the rest of this unit powered up again and get the amp working again and all that, then great. I may cover that as well if I'm able to source that and get a new transformer in place and get the power supply section rebuilt, bolstered up, freshened up, and all that. I don't even know yet what's going on as far as the controls. I'm sure they're going to need to be cleaned out. The various switches, the sliders and all that. Usually, they're going to need service as well. I don't think the customer, although I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't seem like she had too much interest in the 8-track side of things. That may work. I looked at the belt. It's intact. It's showing its age a bit, but it is intact. Everything visually looked okay with the mechanism. I'm not going to get into that, but if I do more work on this and that's something that she wants me to work on as well, well, then I certainly will probably get into that. But anyways, controls, things like that. But the rest of the unit, yeah, we got to get that power supply going or nothing else matters. And the record changer needs work of its own. And although it's technically working, and I will talk to the customer about options and what we might be able to do. And there's a few different options, and I'll touch on that maybe at a later time. So I'm going to leave it here, guys. And as I always say, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time, you all take care.
This is a poor man's shoe production.